Welcome, welcome. You have just reached Facts and Opinion with JR. I'm your host. How you doing on this Sunday? Enjoying ourselves, watching that ball game, enjoying our families. But we're going to come to you with some news. We're going to bring you a little politics. And we also going to talk about just a little bit of common sense. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we do here.
Salt and pepper gold tea, sign of your maturity, so grown and sexy.
Well. This is post. Remember, post debate show. And we're going to talk about what really went on with Trump and Biden at that debate in Tennessee. But before we go there, we're going to address a little bit of news that's been circulating around the world that we haven't addressed because basically we're living our lives, taking care of our families, and doing the things that we normally do every day of the week. Well, Russia and China decided they wanted to have some type of military alliance, or at least they're talking about it. That's not good. Michigan has announced 3,338 new cases of coronavirus, with 35 new deaths and a total number of cases reaching 158,026, with 7,182 deaths. Not a good thing, not a good thing. We still got China battling against the U.S. in the South China Sea, bumping heads as always. Seems like they just don't want to stop that. I think we're going to have to be doing some things around there with that. And we want the right man in office to deal with that. Now, let's get on to what happened at the debate. You know, President Trump's advisors have been telling him, you know, from the first debate, to kind of like lay off Biden a little bit. Let him hang himself by his own petard. Well, I think he did just that. I've seen the debate now. I'm not the only one that's seen this go on and heard what happened. Joe Biden was presented with a question. And the question dealt with oil. The man said he was going to phase out oil, gasoline, fracking. Now, let's be real about this here. We, for the first time as a nation, have become energy independent. It didn't come from wind. It didn't come from solar. It came from fossil fuels. And we are completely energy independent, which means no more jumping in the boats. No more gathering up the troops to go to the Middle East to defend our interests when our interest is not there anymore. But you want to take us back. Now, thing about that is, that's some of the dumbest shit I've heard of. Excuse my French, but that was pretty freaking stupid. For this man to stand there with a viewing audience of somewhere between 50 to 75 million people watching him, to say that he's going to shut down the the oil industry. Now, let's be honest with ourselves, okay? You have Ohio, you have Nebraska, you definitely got Texas. These are some of the main, Oklahoma. These are some of the big states that are helping us be energy independent. And your big brain trust told you that it might be advantageous to you to tell America that you're going to do away with the oil industry, and your argument for that is it pollutes, which, in honesty, I might have to give you a little bit of that, but here's the thing. They really did quite well as far as like cleaning up and keeping things neat and tidy. In other words, less pollution, safer drilling methods being employed. Now, what's really interesting, excuse me, what's really interesting about this whole development here with Biden is not only did he say during the debate that he was going to do away with the oil industry, okay? Dummy move. Not only that, but the man, this is what frustrates me about politics, okay? You can honestly see the difference between the two candidates. You have one that is a lifelong politician, and you have another one that's a businessman. Now, like I said before on one of my previous shows, a lot of people have always thought that this country is ran like a corporation, and head of that corporation, we keep electing, and they keep disappointing us. Okay. Now, being that we have a new CEO, so to speak, and Donald Trump, he's been running this country like a corporation, and it has been working. We have developments. Since we talked last week, I was under the impression that the president was nominated for only 2 Nobel Prizes. Well, there's a correction. He actually has been nominated for 3 Nobel Peace Prizes. Now, also, this week's developments find us with a peace deal between the Sudan and Israel, brokered by our current president. More peace in the Middle East being established while the other side complains, lollygags, and goes through all kind of machinations about what they would have done. Now, if you watch the debate, one of the questions that was posed to Joe Biden is, how would he handle China? This was the weakest answer I have heard out of a candidate in my freaking life. Look, let me say this to you. The man gonna say he's gonna make China play by the international rules. Did you hear me though? He said he's gonna make China play by the international rules. Bullshit. Let's be real. He was there for 8 years. 2 times 4 is 8 with President Obama. And in the time that he was there with President Obama, the Chinese built a series of man-made islands in the South China Sea. They also told President Obama and Vice President Biden that they were not going to militarize those same islands in which we are talking about. And again, blowing smoke up your ass, finding out that now they are militarized. They have bases on them. They got troops on them. They got ships that deliver goods to them. And at the same time, this man says, referring to Vice President Biden, of course, that he's going to make them play by the international rules. This gives me a headache, because you're telling me a president that has verifiable accomplishments cannot do better in the 47 months that he was there with verifiable accomplishments, things you can put your hands on, they're tangible, they're real, pre-COVID, post-COVID. We're still dealing with it, but he's still making accomplishments happen. But now you tell me a 47-year politician, career politician, now all of a sudden, because he's running for president and came up with all these fantastic ideas of how he wants to change America. He wants to build it better. Again, I repeat, bullshit. How many times do we have to deal with career politicians? I'm not talking about the guy that's walking down the street. We're talking about career politicians here. How many years do we have to continue dealing with career politicians that every 4 years or every 6 years, whenever the cycle arises, they come to us blowing smoke up our asses and then turn around and drive everything into the ditch with higher taxes? Now, again, I repeat, some of us are not educated to the idea of capitalism, okay? But let me let you in on a very small hint. When the politics of envy becomes injected into what's real. You paying your car note, you going to work every day, you paying your bills, paying your mortgage, keeping your lights on, feeding your family. When the politics of envy is injected into an environment such as this, what happens is the opponent that is saying they want to raise the taxes in the middle of a pandemic. Now, we ain't talking normal times here. We talking like some really bad things going on because we got a lot of more flare-ups taking place right now in Europe and the United States. And it's getting cold, so what you think gonna happen? It's not gonna be good. But we're gonna just address this like we're supposed to as Americans. We're not gonna sit up here and cry and pat ourselves on the back. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. But we're not gonna cry about it. We're gonna struggle on through this like we have it everything else we done struggled through. World War I, World War II, the Civil War, the fight for liberty, the Revolutionary War. We struggled through those things. And we came out on the other side much better than when we went in. Okay, let's be honest about that shit. Let's not even lie to ourselves. When we come out of COVID, when we come out of this COVID-19 or coronavirus BS that we dealing with that was actually initiated by the Chinese, but you want to blame Trump as if it's his fault, we're going to be much better for it. Now, I'm not saying there was a good thing that this happened. I'm not saying that at all. Don't get your mind twisted. I ain't saying that, all right? But if we look at the political structures that's going on right now, the elbowing and jockeying for position, then you understand what's about to happen, okay? Let me tell you or give you a hint about what I think is about to happen, because this comes with facts, but I'm also going to give you my opinion about this, all right? Now, hear me out. Currently, you have the same country that actually infected the world with a virus that there was no cure and still is not currently a cure for. They knew what was going on with this. They attempted to keep Beijing isolated, but infect the rest of the world, okay? Because international flights were still leaving that country when this virus was first detected. Let's keep it real. Now, let's fast forward a little bit. The world is not happy worth a damn, all right? Let's be honest. You don't have to be a conservative. You don't have to be a libertarian. You don't have to be a liberal, and you don't have to be a Democrat or a Republican to understand that the world is in an uproar over what the hell China did. And a lot of people on this planet believe it was done intentionally. Why? Because we hold the power on this globe. The United States of America, yes, the best nation in the world, thumbs up, and I rally behind her. Because we are the best nation in the world. And so we are actually the strongest nation in the world. And when you have other nations that are trying to jockey and maneuver for that number one slot, but they know they can't get there by what they've been doing for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, you got to come up with a different plan. Now, like I said, this is my opinion. But the evidence kind of back up my opinion a little bit that this might have been done intentionally. They don't want to let the investigators in the country to actually get down to the meat of the matter, as they say, because they got this. But I digress. I'm not going to get into that too deep. We all know what's happening with China. But let's get back to what's real. Do you really think Joe Biden, Mr. Stan, putting a lid on his campaign every other day, can deal with the issues of this world coming fast and furiously, okay? Did you know that Greece and Turkey bumping heads over the Mediterranean right now? Do you really think Joe Biden got the moxie to deal with that? Do you understand that India and China are battling it out in the Himalayas on their border over a certain region? And do you honestly think Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, can deal with that shit? Because if you're asking me, the answer is hell no. Let's be real. We sitting there looking at these people side by side. One cat got energy, and at the end of the damn debate, the other guy running on empty. Tank almost gone. And that's where he made his mistake by saying that he was going to destroy the oil industry and raise your taxes. Even the moderator had to look at him and say, why would you do that? Come on now, let's be real. You have a lifelong politician that has always been stuck in one frame and one frame only. Raise your taxes, redistribution, move that money elsewhere, take it from the rich man, give it to the poor man, and never did nothing for nobody. That ain't helped nobody. What they say, you can give a man a fish and he gonna eat for a day. You teach that man to fish, he'll eat for life. That's the same thing that these Democrats in certain areas in high authority in the levels of power, that's how they think. If they give you a fish today, they can give you a fish tomorrow, and they can give you a fish the day after that, and the day after that. Why? Because you are dependent upon them. You didn't get up off your butt and say, you know what? Let me go learn how to fish. So I ain't got to have this guy bringing me my food. I can take care of myself. That's what we are. Now, having said that, I'm going to take you someplace else real quick. Like, you know, Donald Trump only received in 2016 8%. 8, not 9, not 7. 8% of the black vote. And at that time, it was considered pretty good. Real talk. They thought that was pretty good for him to do. 8% of the black vote. He still won, though, as we all know. But I got some news for you. Might rattle your cage a little bit. Might shock you to your soul. Rasmussen. I can't get my words right. Rasmussen did a poll. Reputable polling company. They did a poll. And whenever, you know, any of our Washington heads of state want to get a feel for what's going on, they go to Rasmussen and they get them poll numbers. But here's the shocking development that a lot of us don't know about. Rasmussen did a poll from October the 19th to the 23rd, and it went from 25% of black likely voters that support the president. That was on Monday, okay? That was on Monday. It was a 5-day poll. By that Friday, that same week the poll was taken, that number went from 25% of likely black voters supporting Donald Trump to a whopping 46% of likely black voters supporting the Mr. Cheeto man. The same motherfucker that everybody talking about ain't shit. Even the brothers done came to understand. Lies, promises don't get you nowhere. Results take you everywhere you gotta go. Everywhere you gotta go. If you reduce my taxes, that's more money in my pocket. That even lowers the gas prices at the pump. It lowers my utility bills at home if you reduce the taxes. But if you're a candidate running for president and you say you're going to increase those taxes, what you're basically telling me is you're going to increase my gas prices. You're about to increase my utility bills. You're about to increase everything around me that I use on a daily basis. Now, remember, they tell you that, you know, the cost of living hadn't increased. But they left out the one key thing that we all forgot about. The essentials. Groceries, food, utilities, all those things. They didn't, you know, they left that out. Clothing, all those things they left out. But as you go to the store, you realize, hell, damn gallon of milk costs down their arm and leg. What's going on with these eggs? Why they so high? Why in the hell do I have to pay a little something on my light bill and then come back next week to pay the rest? You understand what I'm saying? These are the typical Washington, D.C. insiders that want to run this country, not thinking about, and they say they think about the public, all right? But they only think about you every 4 years when they want your vote. Let's be honest with ourselves. That's a bull, all right? That is bull. They only think about you every 4 years when they need you. When they don't need you, your ass is a distant memory. And we all seen it with our own eyes. It's not like we just woke up one day and said, oh, Somebody making sense for a change. No, we've all seen this. Now, in Florida, if you remember what the polls say now, the polls got Biden whooping ass up through here. All right, all the polls say that Biden is doing the do. He's going to win hands down, lock, stock, and barrel. And now that we've gotten this close, the real polls are starting to come out because the polling agencies understood what happened 4 years ago with Hillary Clinton. And they understand also that you cannot continue in that industry giving false lies and think that the next time people are going to listen to you. So now that we're getting so close to the election, they decided to come out with the actual polls, okay? The real poll numbers. And I'm going to give you a little taste of them. You remember, Biden was, so much in the lead in Florida. This was just 2 weeks ago. Biden was in such a big lead in Florida that where Trump had to be down there all the time to kind of, but he wasn't going to do it. He wasn't going to be able to do it. The Hispanic vote down there, the Cuban Americans, they wasn't going to vote for Donald Trump. Well, numbers in Florida done flipped. Now we got it 46-48. 48 towards Trump, 46 towards Biden. Same thing that they said in Georgia. They had Biden was such an overwhelming lead in Georgia that, and remember now, Georgia is a conservative state. It's on the map. It went to Trump last time quite easily. But they blowing smoke up your butt. These are called suppression polls to make the voters not want to go out because they think that the opponent is so far ahead that their vote wouldn't matter anyway. So they stay at home. But here's the real deal. That's a bald-faced lie. That's all they're doing is lying to you, to keep you at home so you don't go out there and do your civic duty and let your voice be heard. But here's the thing. In Georgia, they had, like I said, Joe Biden is such an immense lead that there was no way for Trump to overcome that. But the new numbers have came out. The real numbers starting to surface. Right now in Georgia, it's 47-48 Trump with a 3-point margin of error. It went to him last time. I do believe it's going to go to him again. And Ohio, the #1 battleground state. Now, you remember now you got Michigan and Ohio and Pennsylvania, the key battleground states. Right now in Ohio, the numbers is 46-49, Trump's favor. And like I said, there's 3%, float in that. You can go either way. But here's the thing. Do you really think Ohio is going to vote for, after that debate, do you honestly think Ohio is going to vote for Joe Biden after he say he's going to destroy their energy industry? Millions of people work in the energy industry. Pumping oil, refining it, turning to gas. And what a lot of people don't realize is that petroleum products are not just used in your automobile. Plastics are made from petroleum products. A lot of the things we utilize on a daily basis is made from petroleum products. So for you to shut down an industry, you increase the prices across the board. But again, I repeat, some of us too damn stupid to understand that when you play in the politics of envy, you may be hurting him, but fuck it, you killing me. Okay, let's be real. You got my pockets on E, not swole on E, just like my gas tank would be. We are not ready. It does not prove itself to be a reliable source of energy output when you're talking about solar and wind. Okay, let's be real. Sun don't shine, you ain't got no solar. The wind don't blow, you ain't got no juice. Okay? Only thing that's always been dependable for over 100 years has been petroleum. And now you want to take that away. But let's address it from a different angle. You were talking about a career politician. Been there 47 years. 47 of them. 47 of them. Okay? It's been alleged that in these emails that's been flipping out on a regular basis from his son's laptop, the man could be corrupt. Okay? And I think I told you this last week, is that this country would not be destroyed on the outside. You got to crush us from within. From within. Ain't nobody going to do that to us on the outside because they can't. Really, seriously. No, they fucking can't. All right? Now, you got all these cats out here trying to tell you that, oh, well, we need to walk soft and carry a big stick. Look, that's done. That day is over, okay? Now it's time to break out the big stick and start talking shit, okay? Because all this stuff that's going on around the world right now is going to come to our front doorstep. You just don't understand. When you got countries like Turkey and Greece battling over certain areas in the ocean, when you have China battling with India, two nuclear-armed countries, bumping heads over mountains, the Himalayas. These same people that we get all our stuff from, talking about the Chinese, they've got re-education camps for Muslim Uyghurs. But we got GM over there, what's her name, Barra, building cars over there. Don't you know that that makes them money? And our companies, corporations are supporting this, but you come back here, wave the red, white, and blue, and act like we supposed to be all about you. I think that's a certain amount of betrayal there, but here's an uptake. From what I understand, Barra's moving the electric portion or the electric production portion of their new pickup truck back to the U.S. I think it's going to Ohio. I'm not sure. I have to check on that to be on the real with you. But I think it's moving to Ohio. And in doing so, it brings back jobs. Very, very desperately needed jobs in our country. Not somebody else's country, our country. They said a while ago, when it first popped off, only Nixon could go to China. Again, another bonehead Republican move, okay? Nixon was a Republican, and he was a fucking asshole. Why would you bring in a country into the world economic system that has over 1 billion people, don't like you, kicked your ass out of North Korea when we almost had the World War I? Remember, they sent down millions of little Chinese down there, ran the United Nations out, and then we ended up with the 38th parallel separating North Korea from South Korea. That was done under some crazy assumption that we could get along with the Chinese. The Chinese have done nothing to us except for bust our asses the whole way through this shit. And now we finally realizing that we got a problem after a virus has escaped from one of their little labs. And I don't doubt if it was a military lab it escaped from. But they won't give up the information. These are not our friends. But we are tied with these people because they make our pharmaceuticals or have the ingredients to make our pharmaceuticals. We are tied to these people because we let so many of our corporations and businesses go there. But now under the new administration, Trump, and after everything that done happened, we're pulling that back. We're bringing all that back. But you have to have incentive to bring it back. So now the other side wants to complain. Oh, you're lowering taxes for corporations and your friends. No, we're putting the playing field on a level footing for a change. If you're just overwhelmingly taxing corporations because they may be $1 million corporations or in the Fast 500 club or whatever, if you're taxing those corporations, guess what they're going to do? They're going to find a more favorable tax place to go. It could be Sweden. It could be Sweden. It could be Sweden. It could be any place around the globe because this is a free world. And if you're being excessively taxed in one place, but this other country is telling you, well, bring your ass over here. We got you. Guess what? You got shareholders. You know what I'm saying? You got profit shares that you have to put out there. You got people you have to support and, employ. You're going to get your ass up and move to a more favorable tax base. Every time we get into these political arguments, You always have one side wanting to raise taxes, and you have the other side trying to lower those taxes. The one side that's trying to lower the taxes are coming to you from a logical standpoint. We're not talking emotion. We ain't talking about envy. We're not talking about sticking to somebody else. They're talking to you about logic. And that's the same thing I've been telling you ever since I sat here. Logic. The other side wants to come to you with political jockeying. They want to tell you, well, this guy here, he's downtrodden, he needs your help, or corporations are sticking it to you deep and they should pay their fair share and all these other different things. Okay? I agree. They should pay taxes, but they shouldn't pay excessive amounts of taxes, because in doing so, you make it hard for the little guy that works for these businesses, that work for these corporations, that work for these companies. You make it hard for the little guy. Unintended consequences. Ever heard that? It's a phrase. Unintended consequences, which means you didn't intend for that shit to happen, but guess what? It did. All right? And the one thing that kills me about politicians is that once they realize they fucked up, seems to me they don't even want to stop doing what they're doing. They still trying to make it work when it won't work. Einstein said, mark of insanity, do the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. That's what it is. But you get a businessman in there, like the one we have right now. You have results, tangible results, but you don't like him because Orange Man is mean. I keep repeating myself. He may be a bull in the China shop, but as far as I'm concerned, he can knock down every vase in there. He can run over every piece of glass they got in their joint. Long as things come together in this country like it's supposed to be. You want to sit up here and talk to me about race. The one thing about race that's consistent is that when you're doing better, you really don't care about the other guy and what the hell's going on in his backyard. But when you're not doing that good, you always find another way to get that heat up off you and kind of shed it on somebody else. There is no substitution. No substitution for success. There's not. Now, we're going to get on to something else real quick. You know Adam Schiff? You probably don't. Democrat congressman out of California. This idiot, I just can't understand this man. This man sat up all this time talking about he had all the evidence on Donald Trump colluding with Russia. He said he had it. Got it right there. Can bring it to you, show it to you. Lied every step of the way, never had any evidence. The president, you see, they impeached him, but he passed on through that. And I know a lot of y'all out there saying the only reason he got past that impeachment is because of the Republicans. Well, damn right, because they were wrong in how they tried to impeach that man over nothing. So, of course, the Republicans are going to look out for the man. Now, let's be real about that. We ain't going to sit up here and try to sugarcoat this. And even Joe Manchin, Democrat, Virginia, he didn't feel right about the vote when they interviewed him a couple of times before then. That man wasn't like, okay, I made one. He did that, in my humble opinion. He took that vote under duress. Got something for y'all right quick. You can call in. I'm live. Phone number is 313-355-6018. Live streaming on WJZZ Cool TV, Facebook, Facebook, YouTube, and all your popular social media platforms. November 1st. Keep that date in mind. November 1st. You know, we've been sitting here talking about politics and how we want y'all to get out and vote. Man, let your voice be heard, do your civic duty. November 1st, we having a shootout around here. No, leave your gun at home. That ain't the kind of shootout we talking about, all right? Put your thing away, all right? The kind of shootout we talking about, you bring your Democrat argument, I'm going to bring my conservative Republican argument, and we going to see whose argument is the best. See what I'm saying? Because we gonna put this to the test. We hear this every year. Every 4 years, we hear the same thing. Democrats better than Republicans. Republicans better than Democrats. But I feel, myself personally, being on both sides of it. I ain't just one-sided. I've been on both sides, so I can speak on this. If your motivation is to do something, then you go with this party. If your motivation is to do something else, then you go with that party. Doesn't make a difference if your motivation is good or if your motivation is bad. You're motivated, all right? This party may be talking about something you really, really think you want to be a part of. And this party's telling you something that you think you might want to be a part of as well. But November the 1st, when the shootout break out, right here in the studio, in this building, we're going to see if logic overwhelms your emotions, all right? Because if I come to you with facts, if I come to you with numbers, if I come to you with history, the only thing I ask is, my Democrat brethren, please don't come to me with your emotional, I feel this way, I feel that way, I feel. Okay, I got fingers, I got a hand, I can feel this, but that ain't helping me get no money up in my pockets. I don't care about that feel crap. Now look, y'all, look, one of the things I get really interested in is that because one party feels a certain way, means that the other party has no feelings, right? That's what you're saying. Look, each and every individual that has ran for office, minus Adolf Hitler, had feelings. Might not have been good ones, might not have been bad ones, might not have been right ones, might not have been wrong ones. But the problem is they had feelings, okay? But one party tends to deal more or less in the idea of keeping a structure, current structure, previous structure alive, historically, okay? Other party feels that they want to move things forward progressively. Now, here's where a lot of people don't seem to understand. But they both full of shit. Let's be real. You cannot go back to the 1800s and try to move that up to the 2020s. And you still cannot sit up here and try to erase the history that this country has came from because you think that it has been so offensive and it hurts so much to think about what this did or what that did. No. Stop, okay? Just stop already. Just stop. Look, Democrats, stop your bullshit. Republicans, stop your self-serving bullshit. Because that's what it is on both sides. You trying to sell me your line of bullshit, you trying to sell me your line of bullshit. And both of them smell like just a pile of crap. The bottom line is, the president that we have right now, maybe y'all didn't know this. At one point in time, he was a Democrat. All right? At one point in time, he may have thought that way. Or at least some of his past statements kind of showed that he was more or less on the Democrat side. Now, you have to remember, when the man got in the race, a lot of Republicans didn't trust him, thinking that he was a Democrat in disguise. Okay? What the man is pragmatic. That is why you have, for the first time in a long time, you have actual people standing at his rallies talking about, we love you. We love you. Not because you're a Democrat, not because you're a Republican. You have to wear this Republican coat because that's the party you signed on with. Okay, let's use Bernie Sanders as an example. Bernie Sanders is a socialist. Do you think the socialism is going to be good in the Republican side of the House? No, it doesn't. So he caucuses with the Democrats. The Democrats will accept that. He can't caucus by himself. What you think he's going to do? Stand out there all damn day long and just wave a flag saying I'm socialist? No, in order for him to achieve anything that he wants to achieve, just like when he ran for president or ran for the nomination of his party, he caucuses with the Democrats. So again, I say, both parties are full of shit when it comes down to what's really going on. But one party can actually move you in a certain direction, where the other party may move you in that direction, but guess what? You're going to deal with a little pain, financial pain, and the politics of envy, and all these other little, look, they got movements that I think are just literally crazy, okay? Let me give you a couple of them. Tea Party movement, all right? Do you know what the Tea Party stands for? Taxed enough already, okay? They were. Under Obama and Biden, they were extremely taxed. A lot of businesses, a lot of people. And you know that because, you lived through it too. That's where the Tea Party movement came from. Being that the government was run by Democrats at the time, you may wonder why the IRS was investigating these people. Politically motivated. Okay? Neither party wears the coat of purity in any of this. Neither party. But if you're going to be a part of something, you should know what that is. You should understand the implications on casting your vote and how it may affect you in the long run. Now, like I say, phone lines are open. If you want to challenge anything I done said or anything you may want to get off your chest, feel free to call in. But I can tell you honestly, there's not one party that is better than the other party unless that party, in my opinion, works to serve my needs. Democrats did not serve my needs for over 20 years. They always said that like I said, I come from both sides, so I can speak on this. They always said because of my color, I'm being held down by somebody else. But when I actually looked at it and realized in my circle, in my environment, the only person holding me down was me. Okay? Republicans want to tell you, we'll give you the environment, but it's up to you to make it happen. But then when something go wrong, hell, they want to basically put your ass under the jail, let alone in it. All right? Democrats have the same thing. It's a power structure, and we need to understand that. When there are crimes that are committed in our faces, 33,000 emails, and they don't go to jail, they don't get reprimanded. But a young man in the Navy just taking a couple of photos of what he used to do and how proud he was of doing it, ends up getting his whole life destroyed. And you think that's fair? Like I said, man, these politics are crazy, but we have to vote. It's coming up soon, 9 days. You know what I'm saying? 9 days from now, we need to get up off our behinds and go vote. But please, when you go do this, be informed. A lot of you guys probably didn't even get a chance or chose not to watch the debates. And I could understand that because from the first debate, that was horrible. That was horrible. And on the second debate, I guess, President Trump decided to follow the advice of his advisors saying let, Joe Biden talk. And he talked. And the stuff he said didn't make much sense to me because if you pay close attention, he recycling a lot of different things. All right. My point is simply, if you have 47 years to do this, and the closest example of a politician not doing any damn thing when they had the opportunity, it only goes back 4 years. We can even say 8 years when he was in the Obama administration as the vice president. Instead of him doing anything to help the black community, but instead of him doing anything to lift us up, we get dry ass speeches telling us what they want to do, what they could do. But I can tell you speeches what they didn't do. Okay? I didn't hear not one individual under the Obama administration say we're going to put opportunity zones in impoverished areas. I didn't hear not one time while Obama and Biden had the House and the Senate. Didn't do shit about prison reform, crime reform. Didn't do nothing. Oh, but they did spend all their capital on Obamacare, which they promised was going to reduce your premiums by $2,500. You can keep your doctor. You can keep your insurance. Well, the premiums went up by $2,600. And you lost your damn doctor and you lost your damn insurance. Now, I ain't saying that happened to everybody, but enough people to recognize that was some bullshit. Just enough to recognize that that's a problem. But now, Trump, in his constitutional position, his job, doing what he was elected to do, nominated Amy Coney Barrett for the Supreme Court. Oh, yeah, she's going in. Oh, yeah, that's a given. Democrats can complain, cry, moan, groan, go piss in a bucket. I don't care. But she going in. And what's going to happen is there's going to be some changes. We're not going to have another branch of government legislative branch of government. Let me remind you, the House of Representatives makes the laws. They go to the Senate for confirmation. Then they go to the president for signature. If any of those laws that they pass don't actually mark up with the Constitution, and one side is fighting the other side, eventually it makes it all the way up to the Supreme Court. They have the final say. Now, there was just a ruling. Now, remember now, it's only 8 members of the court right now. There was just recently a ruling on, I think it was some election ballots being done in Pennsylvania. And they wanted to count those ballots far beyond the election day. Now, this is the problem with having only 8 members on the court. This was a lower court's ruling that said that they could do this. And it was good enough to take it all the way to the highest court, which is the Supreme Court. Once it got to the Supreme Court, guess what happened? 4-4 split. It went back down to the lower court's ruling, and the lower court's ruling stood. So now we have areas of Pennsylvania that can count ballots days after the election. 1, that ain't even close to being right. Number 2, that ain't even nowhere close to being fair. And number 3, the election is held on the 3rd. In history, we have kind of, except for that hanging Chad situation, but normally in history, we kind of can figure who's going to be the president at the end of the night when the final poll closed. But now we got these old crazy individuals that didn't like Trump when he came in the first time because he beat their number 1 shoo-in, who thought she was just supposed to gain her spot in the White House because it was just her turn. Let's be real now. Y'all know that woman thought it was her turn. That's why she did it. That's why you think she ran for the Senate. Why you think she ended up getting a Senate seat in New York. That wasn't because of no other reason than the fact that she wanted to run for president and she knew she had to have some legislative chops to get it. Then she ended up being Secretary of State. Just another mark on the resume to become president. Understand, she had padded her hand too, because while she was Secretary of State, it's been alleged that the Clinton Foundation was getting a lot of donations from certain countries that we were dealing with under her little influence or sphere of influence. But we're supposed to be dumb, the elected. I cannot say that word sometimes. This is so ridiculous. I'm going to try and get it right now. The electors are supposed, whatever. Us. We're supposed to be so stupid to where we're supposed to believe that this woman walked around with a gold halo on her head and angel wings sticking out her back when she didn't do anything to help the ambassador in Benghazi, and she knew this was going on for over 24 hours. This is corruption that we vote in. These people are, and this goes on the Republican side as well, these people are in positions of authority, in positions of power. And they want to try and tell you that for the first time, you have a president that breaks that up, does what he says he's going to do just to get elected, then carries those things out, then does more on top of that. But he's supposed to be a bad guy, right? That's what you're saying. He's supposed to be the worst president in the world because he's done the things he said he was going to do. I repeat, there was only 25, now this Rasmus poll was from the 19th to the 23rd. There was only 25% support for the 25% of likely black voters. There was only 25% of support for the president at that time. And I repeat, that same week by Friday, that number ballooned up to 46% of black likely voters approve of the president's job performance. Now, I noticed that in the debate, Joe Biden tried to slide, one of them curveballs in on the president, saying something about the president had a Chinese bank account. I thought he explained it quite nicely. Got right to it. You know why? Because it shut him up. He ain't had nothing else to say after that. When he explained why he had that bank account, even the moderator shut the hell up. She had nothing to say either because it made sense. And remember, this man had been investigated, talking about the president, by a number, you had the Mueller report, okay? Mueller report, that report that went on forever. At the end of it, they found out he had nothing wrong done and he couldn't, duh. Come on, man, let's be for real. You're gonna bring up something at a debate that's listed before this man even became president. Everybody knew about it. To try to make the man look bad or to try to make yourself look better when you know your whole situation's full of shit. It's clear. When you had Tony, what's his name? I want to get it right. Bobolinsky. You had Tony Bobolinsky, a business partner with Hunter Biden. He went on before the debates that Thursday and confirmed that all of the emails that was, he was a part of that email chain. He also confirmed that the big guy is how Hunter Biden refers to his father. He also confirmed that the 10% that's going to be held out for Joe Biden from this Chinese businessman that has connections to the Chinese Communist Party was going to hold out 10% for the big guy, referring to Joe Biden. Now, remember, during the debate, this man said he's going to make China live by the international rules. The man got millions of dollars from China. It's obvious. We see it now. It's right there in the emails. And the killing thing about any of this is that nobody in his campaign has refuted this. No one has said those emails aren't real. Remember now, remember what you hear, what you see, and how they twist shit around, okay? They never said, no, that's not Hunter's laptop. They never said, no, none of the emails are real. They never disputed any of it. You know what they came up with? Russia. Russia, Russia, Russia. Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. They rushed the hell out of us about President Trump, all right? Now, all of a sudden, this man's laptop ends up in a repair shop, finds the emails. The guy calls the FBI. The FBI come pick up the damn laptop. And the killing thing about it is they want to say it's Russia. The director of national intelligence, John Radcliffe, said in an interview with Fox Business that the laptop and emails are not a part of a Russian disinformation campaign. Letting you know that if he's the head of all intelligence, everything gets sent down to him. He sees it all. And if he says that there is no way that this could be a Russian disinformation campaign, you need to understand that somebody somewhere might just be blowing a little bit of smoke in the wrong place. Now, I have to say it's been one of those enjoyable days as usual with you guys. And we're gonna get ready to call it out here just a little bit, cause the clock is ticking. It's Sunday, and I think we need to get ready to wrap it up. So, this has been Fact and Opinion with JR. So glad you decided to join me. Join me next week, Saturday, from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and we're going to rock. You guys have a good day now. Enjoy football. Go Lions. Later.